Welcome to Overcoming the Limits video and podcast series, where we interview extraordinary people and dig into their psychology, their motivation, and their journey. My name is Trevor.
And I'm Jake.
And we are here to ignite inspiration in each and every one of you listening and watching today. Today, we have the exciting Rodolfo Burgos.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you.
man.
So
This
cool
is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so neat to just have you here and finally get to. We've had a lot of conversations over the years, but they've always been short.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
quick. And I really feel like now's the time where I get to meet you.
No, that's gonna be cool.
So he also goes by the nickname Rudy, so we'll be calling him Rudy.
Rudy, the
throughout this.
ninja.
Yeah, he has this coolest YouTube channel. It is called. You want to talk about it for a moment?
Yeah, my channel's called The Ninja on the Mountains. Originally, I got into American Ninja Warrior and thought I was gonna follow with the ninja lifestyle or whatnot, and then I just moved out here to the mountains, and that's totally out the window. But I like to still do videos, so The Ninja on the Mountain it is.
Yeah, this guy. So I first heard of you on YouTube. I was living down in San Antonio still, and I was like, okay, what kind of hiking is there in Colorado Springs? And I typed in Colorado Springs hiking, and you popped up. And then I was like, man, this guy is cool. Maybe I'll meet him one day. And here we are. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I was following you, watched all your videos, and then that inspired me. I started making trail videos because it just seemed like such a fun thing to do. To not only do you get to trail run and like bushwhack, but you also get to inspire other people to do them too.
And documented, yeah.
Yeah, and document it. I'm sure have you had the experience where somebody goes, hey, I saw your video.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right? That
Yeah.
happens to me too.
Mm-hmm.
It happens probably once a week for me.
Well, especially since you're here, right?
Yeah,
on
I
the
see a
Incline.
lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tourists. So that's kind of cool.
Mhm.
So that does happen to you?
Yeah, John told me his mom commented, hey, do you know this guy? She lives out in Chicago. And she commented, hey, do you know this guy that jumps in the creek and then run the incline every day? He's like, oh, yeah, that's my buddy Rudy. So I can't believe she was watching in Chicago. But yeah, I guess all over the place, I guess.
Man, that's cool. Jumping in the creek is already like...
Gotten out there.
Yeah, it's gotten out there. You and I have done that. Has it been 2 or 3 times?
At least twice, yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite one when we did it was negative degrees. I don't remember what it was, but it was...
It was the very first one for me.
Yeah, your very first one, -9 degrees outside, and this water is just, it's so frozen that we had to stomp to like break the ice so that we could get into it. And I put my meat thermometer and I was like, do you want to know how cold it is? And you're like, no. But it was 32 something degrees. And I was just like, you ready? And it was cool because I saw the look on your face and you're like, I'm going, let's do it. And you were just getting ready and amped up and you laid in that water. It was really cool to see you do that for the first time and just no hesitation. You just went for it. So
yeah, I was pretty scared of that one. I was thinking about it all night. I did the incline before and I was like, man, that's going to be tough. I always been afraid of cold water. I've done a couple ice baths before, but always been terrified. And I didn't know what to expect out of the creek. So I knew it was -9. So that was a quick jump, but we got it done. And then after that, like the adrenaline you get is like no other. You're alive for the whole day. It's like,
How long did y'all stay in?
I was like 0.1 second. Like it was quick for me, but
Nice.
It was like a shock to the body, and like I didn't die, so it was good. So that's all you got.
It's kind of hard to describe that feeling you feel afterward, right? All 3 of us have done it at this point, so we all know it.
Yeah.
But anybody watching is like, what? You got in cold water? What's the big deal? But can you try to describe what it feels like for the rest of the day after you get in that cold water?
You're just awake. You just know like you did something like your whole body's like just going. You're not sleepy. You're just alive. You feel happy all day. Your mood is up. I mean, after you do it a few times, it gets kind of more normal, but you still get that feeling like, I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, it really is. I think for me, I struggle with depression. I just have probably my whole life. It wasn't until recently, though, where it got to a point where I had to see a doctor and I started taking some medicine. And I've noticed that's been life-changing, by the way, that medicine. But I've noticed that when I'm feeling down, if I get in the water, it like restarts my brain. And I'm just like, I feel awake finally. Like I was sleepwalking almost, and now I'm awake. And it's nice to just like, it's that like boost.
Saps you.
Like totally. What's the experience like for you, Jake, when you go into it?
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it's resetting is kind of a good word, I think, for it.
Yeah, total reset.
It's like you anticipate it, and then you get into the water, and it's not exactly what you thought it'd be, it's definitely a shocker. And then you're like, I
Yeah,
don't
just
like
do.
you were saying well, we stayed in there for I think 5 minutes, was it, with Joe?
We did a 5.
He did 15 minutes at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
That is insane.
But I can totally connect with the idea that it's like resetting, and then for the rest of the day you kind of feel up in a way. At least for the first few hours, and if you foster that feeling, you can kind of continue it.
Yeah, it's strange how doing something uncomfortable it makes you feel so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incline is kind of like that too.
Exactly.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's fun, but I mean, it's hard. It's uncomfortable, especially if you push yourself. And
yeah, I never go easy on myself. Every time it's throw up level or pretty close to that.
that's intense. That's
Yeah, it
good.
is.
I mean, last night I did it with a friend and I was going his pace, but normally it's like all out.
It certainly puts you in the moment. I've noticed both the incline and the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just have to be there in the moment. Like, so the fears or worries or things that you're stressing out about, they sort of go away. It seems like in those moments, and you're just here, just now.
You used to be fishing at one point where you say, "Oh, you just you and the fishing," but then it's like adrenaline is what gets me in that point now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talking about adrenaline, I've seen your videos. You do rock climbing on the top of 14ers. You do trail running on 14ers through snow, off trail, bushwhacking. I mean, anything that can get your heart pumping, it seems like you're into it. Is that a fair assessment?
Pretty much.
What's your favorite thing that gets your heart pumping?
I'm really afraid of like the cold water. I'm really afraid of heights too. A lot of people don't think I am, but I just channel that energy to stay on the rock because I really don't want to fall. So if I had to say like scrambling class 4, easy class 5 would be like, that really gets me. It's kind of like jumping in the cold water. Like for the whole day, I'm just in a high. I've done like some really hard ones in the San Juans, and I've driven back 6 hours because I'm still on that high. Like nothing's going to make me fall asleep or anything. I'm just so excited of what I just did. So if I had to pick, that would be what I'll do all the time.
Okay, so that aggressive scrambling on the top of 14ers. Can you give an example of a few 14ers? I got a map right there of all of them. What's your favorite 14er that you've done? 'Cause you've done quite a few of them.
Yeah, I've done quite a few right now. I'll say my favorite was I did the El Diente, Mount Wilson, and Wilson Peak Traverse. So that was pretty strenuous, class 4, class 5-ish traverse, and like 20-something miles. It took about 20 hours of the day, so it was super intense.
20 miles in 20 hours.
It was like 22 miles. It was like 19 hours.
Was that when you had your mountain bike on you? You were
No.
carrying that too? That's a different one?
That's a different one,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he carried a mountain bike with him for like dozens of miles up mountains and rode it down. And
Yeah.
he also does
That's
this
hardcore.
backcountry skiing where he hikes with his dog Pike and they just go up a mountain and then just ski down these. It's not like, oh, I'm going to a ski resort and I'm going to ride the little cart up or whatever those are.
Yeah, I've been to a ski resort in a while.
Yeah, he specifically finds abandoned ski resorts and like enjoys them all to himself. How cool is that? Like,
That's tight.
there's one of my favorite things I've seen you do recently was going up Rumdoodle Ridge on Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always dreamed about. Was
You got to do it.
I want to go that way. And Rumdoodle Ridge is this massive ridge on the north side of Pikes Peak that works its way down into is it the crater?
Pit.
A bottomless pit. So it works its way down into Bottomless Pit. And the video that you took of Bottomless Pit was so beautiful.
It's nice.
It was like this insanely beautiful scenery. It's hard to describe because I haven't seen anything like that in the Pikes Peak National Forest except for right there. Like that's just one of those secret special places that
Not a lot of people get to because it's hard to get to.
I mean, yeah, it's like 14 miles one way.
I guess you could get through it from the A-frame as well, but like you said, it's like going to be like 14 mile, 15 mile a day at least.
There's not too many people that want to do that.
No.
Yeah, so you're already going to get a really good experience because you'll be by yourself, and you're going to be in a place where there's not going to be carvings in the trees and stuff because the only people that go there are really going to appreciate it.
There is a car down there that somebody tried to commit suicide or something, so the wreck of his car is still down there at the bottomless pit. I don't know if that's why it's called a bottomless pit or I don't know.
Wow.
But I know there's a car down there.
It's all weathered and
It's all destroyed and wrecked, but yeah. I guess like a young guy, his girlfriend left him or something, and he tried to commit suicide. I don't know the full story, but something
sad.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, he must have been in a hard place. That's
So when you go through there, you kind of like hike through that, and then the hike up is pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real interesting. So you say you have a fear of cold water and a fear of heights, yet everything you do is either heights and cold water.
Yeah.
Why do you constantly do what you're scared of?
Because, I don't know, living normal is just boring. You got to challenge yourself and put your body. We're not meant to live this boring life. We're really meant to be like cavemen, like having to run miles to gather our food and come back and struggle and be hungry and be cold and be wet. We're meant to live like that. And we live this comfortable life that everybody's just like, oh, yeah, just go to the car, to the gas station. I don't know. Everything is just so comfortable. And we're not meant to be like that. So I want to experience that and have that pain and go through that struggle, I guess.
That reminds me of that book, The Comfort Crisis.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, that's, just the idea that we're kind of, as the name suggests, we're in a crisis because we're always so comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But we live in, like, these 70-degree houses, and we're all... our food, we can just go pick it up at the grocery store.
We work behind computers. We sit in these ergonomic chairs that are comfy, and we wear these shoes that are
comfy.
Everything's so comfortable. And that's why there's so much mental illness, because people don't challenge themselves. That's kind of the premise of the book is, like, it's only been in the history of how long humans have been around. A very minute amount of that time has been us living in these boxes that are air conditioned, and you don't. Sometimes people don't even see the sun all day long because they're just inside playing video games and stuff. And yeah, our brains are not wired to be so bored all the time, essentially. So I can really connect with what you're saying, because I agree with that. I got a cool story to tell you about a challenge I've done, but I want to talk a little bit more about you still. So you enjoy being uncomfortable. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. I enjoyed it before I read David Goggins, and then when I read David Goggins' book, I was like, man, I could connect with this guy for sure.
Man, that was a good book, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had the pleasure of meeting him at Leadville 100 and ran maybe a mile or two with him, and that was a pretty cool experience.
Oh, I saw that video. Yeah. He was like speed walking kind of, because he was so many miles.
He had just gone through like a aid station, and I guess he was trying to like fuel up right after the aid station, but I mean, he did a crazy pace, so I'm sure he was running most of the time.
That was just as he was refueling when you caught him. Man, that what a cool book. I love his concept of 40%. When you think that you are done, you're really only at 40%. You can go reach in the tank and go further.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You think about that concept a lot?
I had experience like that. I hadn't read the book at all, but I had trained the whole year for an Ironman at one point in Florida, and I had put everything I had on it, like hours. I had a kid at that point too, so my training was really, I had to take good use of my time. And when it came to the race, I went really hard out on the bike, and I just bunked out. I was like dead. I had a full marathon to go, and I had zero energy left. But I didn't want to quit, so I just kept on walking. And eventually, after 20 miles of walking, I started feeling good. Yeah. It was like, okay, you feel good now. So I started running, and I ran my last 6 miles after having been like nearly dying, like shivering and just like so dehydrated. I was able to come back and I had no idea of that 40% rule, but it's like one of the times when I've pushed my body through that. And
yeah, that's when you tested that, basically, unknowingly. And you thought you were done, but mentally, it's all about mental strength and conditioning, really. Because I think that if your mind is strong, you can push your body to limits you don't even know about yet. Mm-hmm. So that's a good example of that. Is that the same race where you felt like you got hypothermia and it kind of created that fear of cold water?
No, that was in a Spartan race, which probably is the second toughest thing I've done. And it was kind of like the Ironman. A lot of people were quitting. It was a 12-hour cutoff. And after I jumped in the water, everybody was like dropping off like flies. And I jumped in the water and had to do a 50-meter swim on a 34-degree water. And I was hypothermic for like an hour. I don't know. I was like, I couldn't grab anything that weighed. My hands were just like shaking and shaking and shaking. But I didn't want to quit. I wanted that medal. I wanted to say I was an ultra finisher. So I kept going and going. And I made
Had you done cold water exposure before that?
No, I lived in Florida.
That was the first time you had done it?
That was coming out of Florida.
Man, so you swam 50 meters for the first time in 32-degree water.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I was in the elite wave or whatever, so everybody else, they only made the elite guys jump. Everybody else was optional. But because I was elite, I had to swim through the water if I wanted to finish the race without being disqualified. And I remember I looked at the side of the water and I was like, man. And after you're in, and it goes by well. But when you get out again, it's when the real trouble begins. The air temperature is what freezes you.
Yeah, you're soaking wet. It's not like you have time to change your clothes and dry off. And you're in a race.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you could. Maybe some people do, but you didn't want to do that.
No, you were miles away from we had like a drop-off station where we could go halfway and like get our food and whatnot, but that was miles away from where the water crossing was. It was not well thought out, I guess.
So the wind is just blowing on you, and you're covered in this cold water, and you're shaking. Did that almost break you mentally at that moment?
Oh, yeah.
So what kept you going, though?
I was really good at rope climbing, and I got to the rope climb challenge, and I couldn't climb up the rope because I couldn't just grasp my hands on the damn rope. So I had to do the optional 30 burpees and whatnot, and that kind of warmed me up a bit, but I was still like in a world of pain, and I just wanted to finish. I wanted that, saying that I knew they wanted to break me mentally. Like the guy tells you at the beginning, I want you all to quit, and I'm going to make this race tough. So I accepted that challenge. I knew I didn't want to be broken, so I wanted to beat whatever he said he was going to put us through, and I made it through, I guess.
Yeah, so in that moment, what drove you was the drive to succeed and to challenge yourself and overcome that limit that you were feeling at that moment?
I guess I got to talk a little bit about, like, my dad always used reverse psychology on me. Uh-huh. He always told me, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that. And that always made me like, oh, I'm definitely going to do that. So the same thing with the Ironman. He said, what are you doing? You're not like a runner. You just started running recently. How are you doing an Ironman? You're not going to finish. That's not for you. And I was like, watch me prove you wrong. So I always got that reverse psychology works on me very, very good. Okay. And same thing with that Spartan race when the guy said, well, I'm trying to break you guys and I want you to not succeed. And I was like, oh, man, like you're in for a treat.
So you love challenges.
I love it when somebody tells me I can't do something.
Yeah. Do you have a good relationship with your parents and your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's definitely that's encouragement that he's giving you. It's coming from a place of love. He's concerned. Is that what he's saying?
That's just the way I guess he was taught to teach. I don't know. It's worked out for me. At one time out of high school, I guess I wasn't going the right way, and he just brought me some applications to be a roofer. He's like, if you want to keep partying around and not do crap, this is gonna be your future. You're gonna be in the heat and working hard, this and that. I want you to study and he just told me that I was going to be no one, and I just went to school. I proved him wrong. So I always had that prove you wrong mentality, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like he's pushing you in the right direction for your whole life. And is he what led you towards finding, because now you're a dentist. Mm-hmm. You're actually my dentist. So go to him. Go see him. The downtown dentist. And like, how did you decide to become a dentist?
I mean, he was a dentist, so he always wanted me to do that. At that point, I wanted to be a surfer. I was into surfing a lot, I guess, in Florida, and I figured it was the only way I could pay for a good surfboard and surfing trips. So I was like, I'll be a dentist. But once I got into the career, I mean, it's totally fit for me. I'm like hands-on. I like doing things. So it's like mini construction and carpentry and engineering. I love it. I love my job.
Yeah, I mean, you're really good at it. The crown I have, every time I feel it, I'm like, man, that's a good crown. Like, it's a work of art. I got to see that machine in the back that made the crown, and it's just the technology that exists nowadays blows my mind, because it was like, I don't know, it was like lasering it out. I can't remember what it was, blowing air really hard.
Drills it out.
It was a drill, some type of.
But it's computerized, so it's like totally crazy that you could get a computer to scan your tooth and print you a tooth. And it's half an hour later.
The precision is just so, like, I got a crown a decade ago, and it was like molds and like it was so manual. And then this was, I literally got a new tooth. It was excellent. So let me log back in.
Where are you from originally?
Cuba.
From Cuba?
Yeah.
Nice. And when did you come over here?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
It's probably one of my most shocking experiences in my life. Like I could relate to Trevor saying he was depressed. I was super depressed for a while because the life over there it was completely different from a teenager's life over here.
Like in what ways?
Like freedom. I was at 9 years old. I'd go to the beach every day by myself and be gone all day, come back like at 8, 10 o'clock at night, and it was safe, no problem. I get here and they're like, you can't leave the block. And I'm like, sorry, but I am.
Yeah.
So it was kind of difficult in that sense. And the friends, it was different because no friend could hang out like I could because their parents wouldn't let them go out.
Yeah.
But I was raised differently, so I don't know.
Did you come to Colorado?
No, I lived in Florida for a long time.
Okay, you were in Florida.
Yeah.
So you actually felt more freedom in what you could do when you were growing up in Cuba versus in Florida?
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you were in Florida, was it your parents that were saying you can't go out? Because they felt like it was...
My parents wouldn't really care much. They knew I was self-sufficient, I guess, even at that age. But my family was worried that somebody would kidnap me or a car would hit me because there's a lot of cars here. There's no cars in Cuba.
That makes sense, yeah.
So there was a lot of that the family would limit me.
Also, I can imagine it's a new
New
location,
place, exactly.
New place. Everybody's kind of starting over again.
Mm-hmm.
What caused you and your family to kind of uproot and come to Florida?
Well, I guess we always wanted to come here for a better life. And at that point, but my parents didn't want to leave illegally because there was a lot of issues like drowning or like how people come in boats and whatnot. So my dad didn't want to put me through that. And luckily, my mom won a lottery for visa lottery.
Oh, okay.
So we left the country legally. And I guess at 12 years old, we just came over here. We already have family here, so kind of worked out.
What part of Florida?
Miami, South Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I've been there before. Nice beaches.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
So no wonder you were surfing as a kid.
Well, I was surfing in Cuba, and I got to Miami, and I wanted to surf, but the beaches were far away, and I couldn't get to the beaches. So they were like, "Oh, you're gonna live near the beach," but I'm like, "No, it's very far away.
This is not the beach."
This is not the beach.
So when did you come to Colorado then?
2017.
Okay, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah, 5 years now.
Is your family out here too, or they're still in Florida?
No.
Still in Florida?
It's kind of weird to have like Spanish people. They kind of everybody sticks together. You don't leave your family. So when I said, "Oh, I kind of want to follow my dreams and go to Colorado. I think that's where I'm gonna be happy," they were all like looking at me like, "Where are you going? Like, we want you here. We need you here."
Yeah. What were your dreams? I guess.
I guess the reason for moving here, I had already become a runner. And I just love mountain running. I was visiting every year, and I figured I wanted to do all the 14ers because I had already done 2 on previous visits. Mm-hmm. And it was too expensive to travel every year for 14ers. So I'm like, I'm just going to move out there and live my life the way I want it.
Yeah, that's cool. So did you do a lot of research before coming out here? Like, did you look at other states and stuff too and say like,
no,
Colorado is just, it was just Colorado.
It was just Colorado.
Yeah, it's hard to get elevation gain in Florida, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just looked it up. Highest point is 345 feet above sea level.
Mount Dora. Something like that.
You hit 345 feet like in the first few hundred stairs of the incline. So that's funny.
Yeah. Was it? Did you have to adjust at all, or did you have any issues whenever you went up the incline the first time?
Well, I had a lot of issues. The first time I came, I was really well trained. I had already done Ironman. I had already done ultra marathon, so I was in top shape, like working out every day. And I came to the incline, and it kicked my butt.
Really?
Yeah, I was like about to throw up. I did like 34 minutes, which is really fast for somebody coming out of Florida.
That's really intense. So
that's impressive.
But I was dying, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
I gave it all I had, and it was, yeah.
That is wild.
Let's just clarify that again. So first time you came out here, 34 minutes, and you were at sea level for your whole life, basically.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
That's a time that a lot of people aim for and they spend years trying to get to. So what are you at now? What's your fastest time?
29 and change.
Are you happy you broke that 30-minute?
Yeah, I was super happy I broke the 30-minute for sure. 30-minute was a challenge for a while.
I'm curious, what was your experience the first time you went on the incline? Like, did you psychologically, like, were you like, I'm going to come back to this, or were you like, this is horrible?
Oh, I was definitely, I'm coming back.
I should know this, right? Yeah, this guy's, he's going to come back. So did you start thinking about doing the challenges kind of like instantly after that, like the 500 in a year? type
Oh,
thing?
no. After I moved here, I actually never considered 500 yet because I don't live so close. It's inconvenient for me to come every day. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I would consider my 500, which is I'm running every day right now. Trying to do 1,500 miles is my year goal for this year.
Wow.
So it's every day run at least 4 miles.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like my incline away from the incline.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Are you ahead of schedule in that goal? Because we're like 3 months in.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. I'm almost at 400 miles right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Dang, that's a lot.
Where's your favorite place to run in town?
I love the incline. I would come more if dogs were allowed, but unfortunately, I like running with my dog a lot too, so I do all the other trails.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I guess if you come when the sun's down, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's common. I've seen that a lot.
I did that last night.
Yeah. You were saying how you almost was it Pike?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Pike? Pike is so cool.
Yeah, I got Pike because I figured I needed a dog that could keep up with me in winter conditions, and I had seen a lot of videos of people snowboarding with dogs, and that was like my dream, to have a dog that could go up a mountain with me and snowboard down. So I did a lot of research and ended up with a husky, and I love him. He's everything I could ask for in a dog.
Yeah, he just looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, he is fun.
Looks like he sheds a lot too.
He could be crazy when you don't work him out. Right now we're in a good season. It's still winter, but I know springtime he's going to shed like crazy. It's going to be a madhouse.
I've seen those pictures of people with huskies, and they have their dog laying on the carpet, and then they have a pile of hair that looks like another dog. And they this is what happens when they brush their dog, and it's just this massive pile of dog hair.
You just touch him. He brushes by you, and a big chunk comes out. When they're blotching, I guess is how it's called.
Okay. Yeah, those dogs love the snow. They're just built for it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the videos where he's just hopping like a bunny rabbit through the fluffs of snow.
They got features for the snow. I mean, not only their hair, their eyesight is designed for the snow. The smell is designed for the snow. They could do everything better in the snow.
So now we're just now starting to get to the incline. So we talked about what drew you in for the first time. We talked about how you love challenges, you love pushing your body, being uncomfortable. I'm sure when you saw the incline, you were probably like, this is perfect. This is like the weirdest thing. It's a staircase that's 3,000 stairs high, and it's thousands of foot elevation gain, and it's just waiting for you to just run up it. So it's so unique too.
Yeah.
So
from doing that Spartan race, the Spartan race was in a ski resort, and it was kind of like doing the incline a million times. You just get to the top of the ski resort, get to the bottom of the ski resort, go to the top of the ski resort. That was pretty much the race for 30 miles. So after that, I just kind of loved that kind of pain of just going up a hill and coming down.
What's going through your mind whenever you're in these challenges? Like, are you thinking the reverse psychology stuff? Like, I guess
for a few minutes I do. I interchange between that and just staying in the moment, going back and staying in the moment and enjoying the pain and just feeling alive. I like feeling my heart beat. Yeah. I like feeling that and everything just moving. I don't know, it pushes me. I love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't really, I mean, I guess I was talking to Trevor about this at one point. For me, it's that I get really sort of burnt out whenever I'm doing physical stuff. But I really liked the pain of getting tattoos. So I wonder if there's any connection there. It's like you just sit there and you have to you tell yourself, like, could it be worse? Like, there needs to be more pain. Is that how you feel sometimes whenever you're in these physical challenges?
Yeah.
Like, how far can I go with this?
When I used to do that a lot with the biking. When you're biking, especially in Florida, that is flat. I guess here you could get it in the mountains too. But I used to get to a point where you're just in pain. And it's just like, I want pain. I want more pain. You just keep at it grinding. It's like just everything hurts, but you just keep at it and keep at it. And it's just, I don't know.
There's just something to it.
Yeah, it's something to it.
Yeah, for sure. That's an interesting, I think, like I said, I mean, for me physically, I'm just getting into doing the incline and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But when I start getting to that point where my body's, you haven't really eaten anything or something, your eyes are starting to kind of like black out a little bit. You're like, should I keep going? Or like, what's going to happen here? You start wondering about your body and whether it can handle it, but it doesn't sound like that's a worry to you at all.
No, I've had actually pretty bad scares. I was doing a race that I wouldn't have thought it was gonna take me out, but it was in the middle of the heat. I think the race started like at 11 o'clock or 12 in Florida. So the start of the race was already like at 95 degrees, and it was supposed to be a 50K. And I, being competitive, I just followed the front pack, and I was just trying to chase the top guys. But I guess I sweat a lot, and by like 20 miles, my body was like totally depleted, and I almost had convulsions. Like my cramps were just ridiculous. My legs were completely locked up. So you could get to a point where your body tells you had enough, buddy.
Right, yeah,
even if your mind wants to like, come on. No, my body was like, you cannot move anymore. I was physically on the floor. Had to have a car come get me because I could not walk a step more.
That's intense.
Yeah.
There's a video of the muscles.
Yeah, so I put a video of that, but that was like 10 times worse than that. It was like my legs just like, like moving and locking.
What's the term for
I guess spasming.
There was some. It's on the video, but we'll find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really crazy to see.
Muscle fasciculations, but when you get to that point when you're so dehydrated and depleted, it doesn't stop. Like they just keep moving, they just vibrating. And to me, it almost happens every day. It's normal when I do the incline, but when you like exert beyond the point, they could get locked up. So at one point, my legs were like pancakes. This just went inward and outward, and it just stayed like that. It just locked, and my abdomens were like locked. Everything was like, yeah, you cannot move, man.
Yeah.
Stay down.
You were immobilized. Your body said, no more.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's intense.
So it could get to a point where it tells you had enough, but most of the time, I guess I could feel when could get to that point, and I
pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your experience? I noticed you're wearing a Pikes Peak Marathon Ascent hat.
Yeah.
You've done this a couple times, right?
Yeah.
What do you love about those races specifically?
Oh, Pikes Peak is just iconic here. I got to do it. I mean, I could do it any day. We have it for free, but this year I want to push. I did in my fastest was 6 hours, so I love to break like my goal is 5:30 or below. Well, it's gonna be hard, and I just want to push myself. And I feel having the race with everybody serving me food, I could do that. Like normally, if I was to do it, I have to stop at the bar, get some food, rest, and go heavy packed. So I want to push my time. Get in that pain cave.
Are you doing the marathon this year?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did get on the sign up and stuff?
I did, yeah.
Do you like the new dates because they pushed it back a month later?
I think it's going to be better because it might be a little cooler and it might be drier. So I think I always wonder why didn't they do it in September? It's like the best time for 14ers. Everybody says, so it's usually when the weather's stable.
Yeah, I agree with that too. It also overlapped with the old dates, and it was August, I think. Mm-hmm. It overlapped with a few other big Colorado events. So, yeah, it's kind of hit or miss for a lot of people as we ask them about that. But yeah, those are fun races. I did the Ascent, I think the same year you did the Ascent. Was that the first, was 2019? Was that the first year you ran the Ascent?
I guess the Ascent itself, I only done it once, so it must have been that one, yeah.
Okay.
I never did it again.
Yeah, I remember I was aiming. I was like, man, I got to beat this guy. I didn't know you yet, but I was like, this is the one guy I know in the whole place. I got to beat him. And then I was like so far behind you. I started in 2100th place or something because I was a really low wave.
Worse.
That sucked because it's just this wall of people you have to try to pass because everybody's walking. And I made a video of it, and you can see in the video that I literally passed like 500 people. So that kind of sucked. And then the next year I qualified for
a better wave.
A better wave the next year because 2020 they didn't do an Ascent. And that was better too. But I'm not going to do it this year. I'm just going to do like unsanctioned races, just stuff I make up.
Yeah.
Like I did an Incline ultra marathon. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
You remember seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the 52-mile ultra marathon that I made up, and you go up the incline, down Bar Trail, and then to Hiawatha and back, and you do that lap 8 times. And that was a lot of fun. Bob did it with me. It was really cool. Do you think you'll ever do that?
I don't know.
Come on,
it's pretty intense.
It's a good challenge.
I want to do a 13 inclines first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, inclinathons are really cool. I want to do it again. Yeah, I'll do it with you. You want to do it in April?
April sounds like a good time, actually. Could be a good time.
Yeah.
I have another friend that wants to do it too.
You want to pick a Saturday and we'll do it?
You could pick a day. I don't know. Saturdays are kind of hard. Usually weekends for me. Got to take care of the kids, but we could see. We could work it out.
Okay, I could always take a day off too, and yeah, let's talk about that after this. That'd be really fun to do an inclinathon with you. My last inclinathon, 23 hours and 46 minutes. I only had 14 minutes to spare.
That's hardcore, man. That's digging in that pain cave for sure.
Dude, it was hard. I wasn't prepared to feel the pain I felt in my IT bands. It took me about a month to realize that was the injury I had was my IT bands. And then we had a certain type of exercise routine I would do, and it helped. So I'm going to do that for a whole month before we do our inclinathon, and maybe I can go quicker. Have you ever tried an inclinathon?
The most I've done is 5.
Okay.
That was pretty painful.
Yeah.
I felt like probably could have done a couple more without like hurting myself. I just feel like maybe past like 8 or 9 is where you could break something down, like have injuries. And that's what I want to avoid. I just don't want to have an injury because I want to keep running. So I don't mind getting into a lot of pain, but I know when injury pain, I know when I got to pull back. I've been injured and I hate being on the sidelines. It just sucks.
It does suck just sitting there for 3 months while you wait for something pulled to fix.
I had a great physical therapist one time, which is the thing that always keeps me going, that he said to never stop. If you have an injury, just don't sit on the sidelines for 3 months. He says start working out right away. Fix the weak muscle that caused the injury. So I kind of want to usually when I get an injury, right back on it. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know if that guy was right or not, but it seems to work out for me. So
sounds like he was right then.
Yeah.
What other kind of injuries have you had?
IT band, I dealt with that for a long time. I had a lot of rolled ankles, probably over 10 rolled ankles. You always the same ankle for some reason. So I don't know. I recently rolled it on the incline. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. And
it's probably because every time you roll your ankle, the stuff just gets weaker and weaker.
I hear that I think it happens because I'm not paying attention. Usually you're kind of tired by then, and it happens when something stupid that you're not really paying. When I'm focused and I'm like, I open my legs a certain way and I kind of avoid it pretty good. But sometimes when I'm just tired, I'm not paying attention. I'm just like slogging along and then roll an ankle. It's like, damn.
So is that the worst that's happened to you on the incline is a rolled ankle?
No, I've fallen down a couple times coming down it. Last night I fell with the dog, went down like 3 steps. But one time, like a couple of years ago, I was still learning the incline coming down it, and I had no spikes. And I fell down like 10, 20 steps. I literally dug my nails into the ice trying to stop myself because I thought I was just going to keep going downhill.
Was that head first digging your hands in?
No, I went and like fell on my butt and I was non-stop, but I knew how to like do a pick roll if you're in the mountains. So I rolled back and like dug my nails in and like just tried to, because he was like a slide.
Yeah.
The steps weren't even steps. It was just literally a slide. So I just like somehow little by little I stopped. But it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Still down to do the incline after this, or do you think you'll have time?
I don't know. Maybe we go a little bit, just like a little bit with the kids. I don't know.
Okay.
You guys did it with weight, didn't you? Like carrying like a
Actually, that was pretty
like
wild.
a dumbbell.
Yeah, it was his crazy idea. He's always got these crazy ideas, man. I'm like, I'm down. I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, dude.
You're like that friend that doesn't say no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, sure, dude. All right, whatever. Well, he said, let's go up the incline, and then he said with weights. And then he said, without a shirt. And I was just like, dude, okay. I mean, I guess we'll do it. We did it. We made it up.
But we went up with this one.
Didn't we go up? Was it just that?
We did one with this. So this was, I think, like 35.
And then we went up with the actual kettlebells, right? I thought.
Are those 40s?
These are 40s each.
Oh, yeah. You went with that, didn't you?
So I was just there for that. When we trade off. We would trade off every 100 steps.
And I think we had our shirts off and it was snowing.
Yeah, I was just telling you. I was just going along with this guy. Like, I don't know. He's kind of crazy. He says, let's do this. And I'm just like, all right.
Have you seen the Ryan Hall one that he did recently? He
No, I
went
haven't.
down the canyon, I guess the Grand Canyon. He went down with empty bottles of water. He filled them up at the bottom with water and then went uphill, which is like 2,000 feet gain with like this 80-pound buckets on each hand. Ridiculous.
That is gnarly.
Yeah.
That sounds tiring.
Yeah, no, you gotta watch that video. It's pretty cool. It's
Okay.
pretty motivational. He's 100% in the pain cave, and he's a machine, man. He was a runner. He was a beast. Now he's a heavy lifter. He's a beast. The guy is just amazing.
Who is this?
Ryan Hall.
Ryan Hall. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look him up.
So we were talking about you running down the incline. You actually hold, I would call it a record. You're like in the top 5 of fastest downhill time of the incline, which is extremely impressive because it's hard to run down the incline. A lot of people just have challenges going up it, and here you are running down the thing. 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Was that
Something
what it was?
Something like that. I'm definitely sub 8 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, holy cow. What was it like going down that fast? Because that is just...
It's crazy.
It's hard to comprehend.
It's really one of the biggest challenges is my eyes kind of tear up, so I'm like trying to see, but you can't blink because if you blink, you're pretty much gonna eat it. So I have to like focus on just literally the step in front of me, and if I blink, kind of just like a really quick blink, because otherwise, like I said, you're gonna eat it. The first few steps are kind of okay, but once you start coming down, that you run already 1,000 steps, your feet just start locking up. They don't like that pain of pam, 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 that pounding. It just becomes real painful. So you gotta like dig and stay focused. It's all like a dancing game almost. I feel like a football player, like kind of like quick feet.
Hey, Sean. Can I come in? Yeah, come on in.
Are we gonna have to make a new track here?
Okay.
We're gonna have to add him in. Sean is just walking up here.
How you doing, Sean?
Hey, Ninja Power, baby! Come take a seat.
Sean's gonna
give us
take
some Sean energy here.
Sonsky just did his Sunday triple.
Oh man, beast mode.
Yeah, well, I tried. I ran out of gas today.
How fast did you do your triple today?
I'm not telling you.
You're not telling me?
No, oh, whoops.
You don't like it?
No, I'm not telling you, but I'll tell him. Yeah.
3 in that time?
3, baby. Give me some sugar.
God.
How much?
Man.
How much?
Huh?
How much?
You know, the goal was sub 2 hours, and I was pretty close. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Triple in 2 hours is the goal.
Wow.
Man, that's impressive.
You have to look them up in Strava then. That's the only way to find out.
That's the only way. I'm going to have to.
If you can do it 10 minutes faster, then you can run with Andrew Nuttall. Ha ha! True story.
Dude, you're going quick.
Trying.
How did the downhill feel today?
Felt okay. A little bit of pain in the knees, and the only problem was the Upid stay people that are off to the side of the incline, completely taking their rest. So you've picked your line. Then they decide now's the perfect time to jump back on the trail, and they just step right in front of you when you're like 2 ties from them.
God.
One time I went left, and I was okay when a little gal stepped out. But the one time when the guy stepped out, he had long legs, so I had to go to the right, which put me totally off the trail into the branches. You know, I don't like that.
yeah, that's the joys
Can't imagine why.
of noon on a Sunday on the incline.
Yeah, it's not a good time to try a fast downhill right now.
No, but if your IQ was as low as mine, you would do it.
You'd do it.
What's the quote you said yesterday, the 1%?
Oh, no, I said that I graduated in the top 1% of the bottom quarter of my high school class.
Yeah. I think that's
Classic.
so funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm not going to take an IQ test.
Sean is going for I think Sean is going to take the fastest downhill this summer.
Well, I'm going to try, and when I do it, I'm going to write
Viva la local. Huh? You can't have somebody
Yeah,
that's
I'm
not
gonna
from here.
Viva la France and put the French flag up there and then put the thumbs down. But that he's awesome. I mean, to come here and to do one, and to drop a 724.
That's crazy.
And to have the record stand for, what, three years or
Yeah,
whatever?
that was back in 2018, I think. I'll get the exact date.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some
that
fast
was-
guys try it.
That was
And
in
it's
August.
not easy.
Yeah.
August 20th, 2018.
One
Yeah.
time, like you said.
One time. So he had never seen the course before, the incline.
I'm not going to say he's never seen the incline. I'm
Okay.
sure he's seen it, but I doubt that he has, a 12-pack of downhills under his belt,
Yeah.
to pick a line and figure out what he wants to do.
Exactly, yeah.
But if you go on YouTube, he's got some professional how to run downhill videos, and
Okay, so he has quite the experience, obviously, because he hit the record.
Yeah, he had a
first
volcano.
try.
I saw a volcano one recently, and he's just like him and a chick, just like.
and I mean they're taking like these. What would you say? Would you say like 15-foot strides going down the black?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And if you watch that YouTube movie Unbreakable, Western States 100 back in I don't know if it was 2015 or so, when the Killian Jornet, Tony, I can't say his last name, Trapikta,
Kapishko.
yeah, and Jeff Rose from Alaska, 3 undefeated ultra trail running champions went at it in Western States. That same guy that set that record, 724, Greg Volet, not sure how to pronounce the last name, but he crewed for Kilian Jornet during that race.
Because they're Solomon.
Yeah, they're both Solomon runners, professionals.
What's a Solomon runner?
Solomon makes really awesome trail shoes. Probably, would you say they're probably the most popular trail running shoe on the planet?
Okay.
Because of Kilian. He's pushed them to the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not because of Kilian. They make good shoes, but Kilian, everybody wants to be like Kilian, so you want to wear his shoes. So
yeah, so he's a sponsored professional. So you eat, you sleep, you run.
Like him.
And you get paid, and life's good.
And you travel the world, and you got to win those medals.
Right.
Or it ends.
Yeah. Yeah, but he'll never be as cool as the ninja. I'm just calling it, baby. I'm just calling it. Yeah. And Pikey, right?
Pike, yeah.
Pikey's the main monk of Siberian Huskies.
The main monk.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. You have a husky too, right?
I've always usually had two, but they seem to get sick and kick the bucket pretty quick. But I still got my baby girl dog. Yeah, yeah. I really like people, but I love dogs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Kind of easier to like dogs, right?
For sure.
They don't
They're
talk
always
back.
ready for you. You could just treat them bad, and they're like, "Treat me bad again. I just want to be with you."
Yeah, yeah. I always like to say, you can take the person in life that you think loves you the most, and your Siberian Husky, put them in the trunk for 10 minutes of the car, and when you open them up, one of them is going to want to kill you, and the other one's going to want to lick you and love you to death.
That's a pretty cool way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm not going to steal any more of your thunder. I'm going to go,
right.
and God bless you guys, and
right.
have a great interview.
Thanks for
I
stopping
didn't
by.
know you were doing this.
All
My
right,
God.
Sean. One question we had, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody told me that you were a pastor. Is that
No.
correct? Okay. All right.
No, but I'm kind of like the God bless you guy on the
Okay.
incline.
Got it.
Yeah, that's kind of my
You're the
one-liner.
incline pastor then.
Yeah, amen. Yeah, I did say a lot of prayers
right.
today. Yeah, there's
That's
a lot of
good.
sick people out there, people with cancer. Little Cashton's got the brain cancer and is going to New York for some special treatment and stuff, and needs our prayers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he just turned 5 yesterday. Cashton, little CJ, Shannon Fair's grandson. Yeah, needs lots of prayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right on.
Wow.
Well, God bless you guys. Love y'all.
All right.
Thank you for
Sean.
stopping by,
God
man.
bless.
Thanks.
Thanks.
baby.
Incline family forever.
Yeah.
See you, Sean.
See you later.
Nice.
Don't tell nobody.
Okay.
Wow, dude. That's 3 inclines in that time.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very intense.
He
My
says, don't tell anybody.
I've done 2 and 130. I could probably do 3, maybe like 315, maybe. I mean 215.
I'm
I'll
still
say.
kind of stuck on that time. Holy cow.
I gotta give it a try now. See, new challenges. See, I like endurance. I like long distance stuff, but I also like speed. So
yeah. I think
I
that's
like
a good
pushing
mix
hard.
of the two. Like the fastest doubles, triples, and quadruples. People haven't really tracked that much. At least I haven't in the record sheet. So I'm going to add that. I got to do some research and figure it out.
Because this guy, what's his name? The one that was coming earlier, as I was walking in with the red hair.
Rick Webb.
Rick, yeah, Rick
dude's
did
fast.
a really fast double the other day. I was like, whoa, that was super fast.
Yeah. He told me his goal is sub 30 minutes up and down. Can you believe that? That's so
That's-
fast.
That is, yeah, I mean, he's a fast
Maniac
uphiller
status.
too. I mean, I'm not the super fast. I'm a good downhiller, but uphill, I'm weigh 180 pounds, so it's not easy pushing those 180 pounds up.
It
I
takes
gotta
a
be
little
a
bit
twig
more
like this guy.
You weigh 190?
180.
180?
I've gone to 190 a couple of times. Yeah.
How tall are you?
6'2", 6'3".
Dang.
Yeah, you're a tall guy.
Yeah. There's not a lot of tall runners because it hurts when you're tall and you're heavy. It just hurts. So I don't know.
Yeah, you do get that bigger stride though, so that helps.
Yeah. I do
Especially
like
coming
that.
downhill.
Downhill.
Man, your
use it.
videos when you're running downhill, I love that camera you have. The what's it called?
360.
Insta 360.
Yeah.
It's this 360-degree camera, and it just I don't know how you edit it because it almost seems like you can control which way.
Yeah, that's what you could do. You could just you just record and then later you edit what angle you want.
So you get
So
to
you
pick
can-
like you
wherever you want it to go.
Okay.
Sometimes the seams could get in the way, but almost all the time you could get it the right way.
Yeah, it's so cool because the software will edit out the selfie stick, so it just kind of looks like this drone is following him, and that's what I thought. Lots of people say that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this
yeah.
type of technology, and I thought for sure. It took me the longest time to realize, oh, this is a camera. Holy
Yeah.
cow, he's
Yeah.
holding it.
Yeah.
10-foot selfie stick too, right?
I love it. Yeah. Go everywhere with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring it today. I thought you'd be like, look what we're doing.
I should have. I'll just share the whole video in my channel whenever it gets out.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So what's next for you? challenge-wise?
I guess I got to finish the 14ers this summer challenge. I got to finish all the 14ers, run 1,500 miles in a year. What else? I got Pikes Marathon. I'm kind of building a house. So I got a few things going on this year.
Where are you building your house?
Out in the west of here.
Okay. Like Florissant?
Hartselle.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
What's around it?
I guess Ontario Reservoir will be like the nearest big thing around it. Buena Vista's like 15, 20 minutes away.
Okay, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
So is this
Hartselle
going to be
Flats.
where you live, or is this a vacation home?
I mean, I would love to retire or live there. Maybe when my kids grow up enough and they go to college, I might go out there. I don't know. I love the city life, but I like the mountains. So I like Sean said, I want to be a little bit away from people.
Yeah.
Hang out with my dog. Live
Yeah,
that
that's pretty
life.
cool. Man, you're a jack of all trades. You're building a house.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
a
trying
dentist. You got all kinds of education background and this athletic background is just super impressive to me. Where do you get all the time? Especially with you have 3 little kids too.
Yeah, I got
Do you
3
sleep?
kids.
Like, what do you do?
I barely sleep. I don't know. I've always been a light sleeper, so I'm good with 5-6 hours of sleep.
Okay, yeah, that adds up a lot.
Yeah.
You get extra hours every day if you're only sleeping 5 a day and you feel good.
Yeah,
I'm
and I've
usually
been doing
about
it for a long time.
If I sleep 7 hours, I'm feeling good. Any more or any less, I actually feel worse. So, yeah, and you got the advantage, couple extra hours a day. Than I do.
I gotta get it, otherwise, I mean, I won't be able to work out. Since I had my first kid, I never wanted to get in the way of my family life or ruin my family. I don't want to be away. Like I have some friends. I'm not gonna say friends. I have people that I know that would disappear all day and be gone for like long times of the day, and I never wanted to be like that. So of course I do, because I want to accomplish other things. So sometimes I do it, but I try to limit it as much as I can. I try to run when they're sleeping or when I don't interfere with their life. I want to be involved with my family life as much as I can.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. The family aspect and the perspective that you hold, because you do such amazing things, but there's always in the background like family is number one. Doing all of these things, how do you balance that? Do you find that that's challenging at all?
That's
or?
probably the most challenging part, because I'm always scheduling in my head, okay, tomorrow I got to run, or what time I'm going to run. So I could never make plans with friends to go for runs, because most people, they just have free time and they want to go but I just go whenever I can. So I just, whenever I have that window of an hour, 2 hours, half an hour even, I go for it. I take off, yeah.
You usually leave from your house or you drive somewhere?
If it's only half an hour, I leave. If I got an hour, I always doing math in my head. Okay, the incline is 20 minutes away. Okay, I got to run it in 45 minutes up and down, and always doing math to when I could get here and how I could get it done.
Yeah.
It's a big math game. That's what I was just telling my kids. You got to be good at math so you can schedule your time the proper way.
Because you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
What's it like having 3 kids? I have 2, and it's like overwhelming sometimes. Like
It's very overwhelming.
The kids just, they demand a lot of attention.
They do.
And they deserve it, but sometimes it's just really tiring. And I cannot imagine being outnumbered, because now there's you and your wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have 3 kids. So, okay, I'll take this one. You take that one. And then there's the other one that's just like, well, whatever.
No, we actually usually keep them all 3 together. We rarely ever split. And since COVID, we've been, how do you call it? We've been schooling at home too. We've been homeschooling since COVID.
Okay.
So
about the last year and a half?
About 2 years almost been doing homeschooling. So that's been a lot of hours with the kids, which has been a blessing, because before they were off to school all day, you don't really know anything about them. They get home, you play with them for an hour or two, and they watch TV. And
yeah,
right now we spend all day with them. So usually Mondays and Tuesdays I'll do school, and then my wife would do Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. So we alternate who works on what days and what not, so they don't have to be in a daycare or in school. We pretty much self-sufficient in that way, I guess.
Are there certain subjects that you do and certain ones that your wife does?
Like I said, I like math. I'm a math guy, so I always choose sciences. Like I do all the sciences. And so math, I guess, science, history. I don't do English.
Yeah.
English is not my number one subject. Even in Spanish, I wasn't good at languages. So I always been like a number guy.
I'm right there with you. My wife's good at that one. I'm good at the other ones you're mentioning.
Yeah. So we split it in that way.
Yeah, that's great. So here's something that I'm interested in. When I had the situation where with my kids, sometimes it's easy to get overwhelmed and and frustrated with them just because there's so much coming in at once. Kids are loud. You're kind of stressed out because you have a lot professionally you're doing, personally you're doing. Do you have like techniques that you do to kind of stay level-headed when things are just chaotic? Because it seems like it could easily be chaotic. What's your strategy to kind of just stay that best dad version of yourself that you want to be towards those kids?
I think I kind of calm myself down pretty good, having putting myself in so many uncomfortable positions that I could. My mental game is really strong. We recently were fostering 2 kids, so we actually have 5 kids for the last like almost 3 months, and the mental game needed to be on point right there because the 5 kids could chew you up alive. Especially I guess guys, I always, I don't know, we just tend to do our thing. We're not like the mother loving thing. So having 5 kids, a guy by yourself, unless you're like, that's what you really wanted to do, they could break you real easily. So having been in really uncomfortable positions in races and just getting up in the morning and being in the cold, it helps me like, they're not gonna break me down. Like if the ice water didn't break me down, if the incline, they're not gonna break me down. There are some points that it does get up to me. I mean, it could definitely work you up after a few days of just them being on you. So my solution is I gotta go for a run and put myself in my uncomfortable position, but where I'm mentally sane and quiet and I could just get away for a few minutes. If I get a run in, then I could go back and deal with the 5 kids 2-3 days and it's fine. But 2-3 days go by, I need my run again because otherwise it's just too intense. Running definitely, I could find my calm spot where I don't think about anything but just the next breath and the next step. And I guess that's how I could deal with the kids for a long time.
Yeah, you sound like you're very well emotionally regulated, where you have a good grasp of the emotions that you're feeling. And like, I guess if you're feeling overwhelmed, you recognize that before something bad happens. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah. That's kind of something that I'm learning to get better at. Were you role modeled that as a kid from your parents?
I don't know, because my dad was always working and he wasn't working. He was always doing his own thing. Spanish men tend not to take care of the little kids so much. So they're with the mom or in the streets. So in this case, I was in the streets with my friends all day.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do channel that from my parents, that they're together and they stay together to thick and thin. And that kind of like helped me out, like not giving up on anything with my wife or with my kids when it gets like, oh man, today's a hard day. I just want to like not be with a wife and not be with kids and just be by myself. But having my parents, having had done that and having them as a role model in that way, I could say, it'll get better, or I'll just get through today and tomorrow will be a different day. And I just like put myself in that position that no matter how hard it gets, you can still get through it.
I like that perspective. No matter how hard it gets, you can still get through it.
Yeah.
My favorite quote that I ever received from one of my grandmas before she passed away was, it was right after our first daughter was born, our first child, our daughter. And she said, it's going to be hard, but no matter how hard it is, just remember it's just a moment and that moment will pass. So that's helped me through a whole lot of hard moments in my life.
Yeah, my mom told me one time, because I always wanted to be a social friend and have a lot of friends, have a lot of people with me. But she told me one quote that always stayed with me. She's like, you were born alone and you're going to die alone. That's just how life goes. So you got to learn how to be with yourself and cope with yourself. And I don't know, kind of like tender to yourself and be your own psychologist and your own guide to like things. So it's helped me out a lot, especially living here in Colorado and being a father. Sometimes I don't get friends that want to have kids and not understand me, so I just go by myself and I don't have a problem doing everything by myself.
Yeah, that's a really big concept.
Yeah.
You're kind of defining to me like how you love yourself and how you take care of yourself, and that's something I never really learned throughout my adult life or throughout my childhood. I'm kind of starting to get into that more, and really you look at your own needs and understand your own emotions, and like what do you need to do right now to take care of yourself so that you can become your best self for the people you care about around you.
Yeah.
And if you constantly just try to be the best for everyone else, but you never take care of yourself, you never really will be able to achieve that.
Yeah,
Because
you never know who you are.
Yeah, you're always struggling with that like inner voice, or
friends could be a good influence, but they could be a bad influence as well. You know, if you have, I guess you got to pick who you hang out with, and sometimes being around somebody else, you don't get your thoughts all the time. So
yeah, that's a huge concept. I think about some of the most peaceful moments in my life, and it was just being deep in the woods by myself, literally 8 miles off trail, just out there, sitting underneath aspen trees, and like you hear the wind blowing in the aspen trees, and just like, man, there's nobody around here for miles. Like, I'm absolutely alone. That's a pretty remote place to be, and you kind of really find yourself in those kind of moments. So I think that's probably why I started trail running and getting into the forest, was making that realization and being on top of Mount Garfield, for example. Mount Garfield,
Yeah,
Arthur,
yeah.
are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember on the top of Mount Garfield, you get to the very top, the highest point, and I think it's on the south edge. There's a cliff that you can stand against and see a massive view. Have you ever seen that view?
I don't know if I remember.
I'll show you a picture of it, but it's just, I did it for the first time in I think it was October, and all the aspens were just beautiful, and it was just this insane.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
It was probably one of the first bushwhackings I did, and I just will never forget that moment, just thinking like, holy cow, I got to live here one day. And then, yeah, we made it happen. So that, yeah, I got to work more on that. So how do you love yourself? Is it all of this trail running, recognizing your emotions, and like just taking care of what you feel like you need to do without things getting out of hand?
Yeah, I guess pretty much. I guess I just try. I mean, I love people. I like having friends around and all that, but it's really hard to get a grown man to go for a run with you sometimes and keep up with you and do the things that you want to do. They might not even like it, or just, I don't know, maybe too much for them or too little. Or it's really hard to, work with somebody else out sometimes. So I just like having that quote my mom told me when I was a little. It never like stops me from going anywhere by myself because I don't have somebody. Like sometimes I want to go snowboarding in a mountain. People are like, oh, you should go with somebody because if you die and this and that. And I do want to go with somebody, but I can't find the person. So I don't have a problem just like picking up and going by myself.
Got your Pike there with you.
Yeah, I got my dog, and I don't need anybody else. So, I mean, I do like people and want to be with people, but it's hard. It's hard to...
I mean, at the level of the challenges that you're at and the skill required, like, I don't know if I could keep up with you. Like,
and a lot of people might feel intense, and I'm like, if I go with somebody, I'm willing to like be anything because I want the companionship and being with somebody. But it's so hard to get friends to do the things you want to do sometimes.
Yeah, because everybody has such complicated lives.
Exactly.
And everybody's going through something, whether they admit it or not. If they are open and want to be vulnerable about it, everybody's going through hard stuff. So it's you never know quite where they are and what they're going through in that moment.
Yeah.
I would like to learn more about your wife. If you want to talk about her, how'd you guys meet, and how would you define your relationship with her?
Oh, we have a great relationship. We've been together for a long time. We've gone through a lot of changes because when we met, we were kids and didn't know what we wanted to do.
How old were you?
16.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So we've been together since like high school years. I think it's going to be, let me see, we got married in 2004. So it's going to be like 18 years this year we've been married. And we've been dating for a lot longer than that, like over 20 years now. So we've been through a lot of changes together. And I feel like living here in Colorado, just us, like I said, with our friends' influence is really good for relationships. And we work it out pretty well. We don't like the same things. Like, she's not a runner at all. She's not like a sadistic pain lover like me in the trails. She's absolutely different in that way, but we complement each other in what we do. And she tells me sometimes, what would you do if I was a runner like you? Like, who'd take care of the kids? And sometimes it does make sense that we're kind of opposite in some ways, but at the end of the day, we see what's good for our kids and what's good for our life the same way. So, I mean, it works out pretty good.
So what kind of hobbies does she have? What is she into?
Right now, we're trying to get a little business started. She's a pharmacist. So she's trying to start something in the pharmaceutical. That's her passion. So right now, that's been her hobby lately. She's been working really hard on that, trying to get that started.
That's exciting. I love that entrepreneurial mind. Just anytime I hear about business ideas, I'm always like, ooh, tell me more. Yeah.
Her previous idea was to foster kids, but I think the foster kids got to her a little bit more than to me. I think they definitely broke her mentally, and I was not happy to see it, but in a way, I was relieved that it wasn't me, because it was her idea to foster the kids, and I was afraid that I'll be the one to break down, and I was able to hold it, and it got to her a little bit. It was really, it was hard.
Yeah, that cold water and all those,
it got me
those
through
mountain
it.
peaks helped you through.
Yeah. Amazing to say, but it does.
Yeah. So, so what aspirations do you have for your kids as they grow up? You're role modeling a whole lot of positive characteristic traits for them. What would you love to see them do as they grow up, and what would just fill you with pride seeing?
I mean, I would love if they become not mountaineers, but at least like the mountains like me, and just like to free living. I really don't care what they do and as long as they live a meaningful life and with purpose, and they're happy with what they do, I mean, I'll be happy. Of course, I would love it if they were doing the same things I was doing. If they're into rock climbing and mountaineering, that would just mean we'll spend more time together. So that'll be a super plus. So, but I'm not really trying to push it onto them, because anything that's pushed on and not that they want to do, they might not like it. So I've taken them on the incline, but they have a hard time sometimes. So I don't want to be like, oh, let's go tomorrow again, and let's go, So I just let them do what they want to do at their own pace, and eventually they'll hopefully pick up from my role models, and that's what I expect.
Yeah, I mean, kids are like sponges. Whether you know it or not, they're watching and they're learning and they're picking all this up.
Oh yeah,
they're catching it.
Oh, and they other people come over to my house and they want to tell them my stories and what their dad done and what the dad built. So they definitely love what I'm doing. I just hope they pick it up and just live like that.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, man, I feel like I could talk to you for another hour, but I know we got stuff to do throughout the day. So, any other final thoughts? Anything you want to say? Tell us about your YouTube channel one more time.
So my YouTube channel is The Ninja on the Mountains. You could go check it out. I was doing a lot of mountain videos, but I combine it with snowboarding, rock climbing, and whatever my life throws at me. I guess I'll say why I started a YouTube channel. I don't know if I told you this or if you heard it in my channel, but my 4 grandparents, they all had or have Alzheimer's. They all in their late age, like above 80, didn't barely remember who they were or who their kids are. So I feel like YouTube is going to leave a AI impression of myself for my kids, and even for myself as I get older, that I could always go back and see my adventures if I am to have the same thing. I mean, I do have it in my genes, so if I do end up losing my memory, I could remember who I am through my videos.
Yeah, wow, that's a deep concept there. I really like the reason why you have this now, because it's not only memories for yourself, but also for your kids. It's like these artifacts in time of these amazing adventures you went on, and you can just pass these experiences down, whether you're here or not.
I don't have to tell you a story. I'm like, oh, hey, you can watch my story.
Yeah,
it's like I went there. So I like that a lot. I actually like sending it to my grandparents in Cuba, who are like, they don't remember much of who I am, but they get to see my adventures. My aunt plays some of the videos of me climbing a mountain, and they're like super proud of that. So
I bet they are.
Yeah, I love that about it, that I could share it with my dad in Florida or with anybody. And I don't know, the internet has made our life and our essentially our memories, like we could relive that moment. Like some of the mountains I climbed at the beginning that I didn't record, I barely remember what happened that day, like what went on. And when I relive it, I'm like, oh yeah, right there, yeah, I was jumping that rock, and I could relive that moment again. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely useful, since our memories are like constructive, and limited. We think we remember things correctly, but in fact it's constructive, so we build things in there. So it's really good to see what actually happened.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here, Rodolfo.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so
This
much,
was a
man.
lot of fun.
This is great,
That's
man.
awesome, man. This is a cool concept for sure.